Hey guys, it's Olivia and welcome back to my channel. Sorry I'm a little, I'm a little exhausted right now. I'm also in sweatpants and a shirt, but whatever, we'll live. So today I wanted to make a video on my favorite lines in part 1. Since tonight I will be finishing up chapter 8, which is the last chapter in part 1 and our last chapter in Mabel's point of view. So, and I'm also going to add the prologue in this because I think it'll be great. I love the prologue so much. I can't tell you much about it, but I'm going to add a sneak peek. So, without further ado, here we go. So, the first line that we have is from the prologue. I can also have my computer here, because that has all my lines there. I don't know if you saw that. It's fine. But just know, my computer, I have my phone on my computer, and I'm reading from my computer. So, that's why I'm glancing over there. So, my first line is from the prologue. So, I can't tell you whose point of view this is from, because it's actually, I can. So this is actually from Persephone's boyfriend's point of view, which we don't really get to meet him till chapter 7. And the reason I'm not saying much about Persephone's boyfriend is because he's kind of a big spoiler. Yeah, he's a big spoiler. I was like rethinking that sentence, like, is he? He is. I will probably do a longer video about him at some point when it becomes more relevant, probably around when I start part 3 or in the mid part 2 section. So there we go, because it becomes very relevant. So here's the prologue first line. So it's, instead he was her younger brother, which he thought was much more of an upgrade. Now, I like that line because number 1, I find it funny. And number 2, it hints a little bit at his past, which I don't really get to talk about much in this book, only the prologue really, and a little bit during part 3. So it's great, but I can't tell you much more than that. And here we go. So this is chapter 1. So my next line is chapter 1, when Mabel wakes up in Pertho and she doesn't know what's going on. So this is like right after. And this line is, that couldn't be right. She was just in her biology class a moment ago, which I find that funny. That's another reason why I put that there, because I'm like, oh wait, so you're not really thinking about, you are thinking I just got kidnapped, but she's like, wait, no, that can't be right. I was just in my biology class. Like, I can't be here. I just find that a little funny. Just a tiny bit. All right, so then we have our chapter 2 line. I'm moving very quickly, and I don't know why. I can slow down. I literally have nowhere to be. But, okay, so chapter 2 line. This one's funny. So they meet Persephone for the first time, Mabel and Apollo, who's her friend that was kidnapped with her, and she says this. Yup, Persephone sighed, removing herself from the wall, exactly like the goddess. Because Apollo asks, oh, your name's Persephone, like the goddess? Which that does have a tie-in. I'm a big Greek mythology fan, and as you can see, a lot of names, like Persephone and Atlas, all come from Greek mythology, and that's a little, there's reasons for that, like, they actually are plot relevant, so if you like Greek mythology, definitely come check out my book. Okay, so next we have our chapter 3 line, which is great. So basically, this is when Mabel gets to see her other friend, Micah, again for the first time. Well, not the first time, but since she was kidnapped, she gets to, like, see him again. And he ends up, in this chapter, he ends up kind of being detained. I don't know if that's a good word for it. I don't want to spoil too much, but basically, Persephone takes him away. And then we have Mabel, then we have Persephone again, because I'm obsessed with her lines. It's a problem. But then Persephone says this. So, and the first part of this line is a spoiler, so I'm not saying that part of the line. So, basically, she's, like, escorting Mabel to this next place, and she says this. She says, listen here. Just because you're having a rough life doesn't mean that you get to be entitled and walk all over my rules. We've all had a rough life, honey. I know mine is worse than yours, so please get your act together. I'm sorry, the sass! Just right there. It is so funny. Like, Persephone's the embodiment of sass. And I'm like, please, I need this in my life. And I love it so much. So then we have chapter 4. So chapter 4 is when Mabel gets to meet Sunny and Cassidy, who I talked about in an earlier video. Go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. It's the one about the side characters. So here's this. So this is chapter 4, and this is Cassidy speaking, because Sunny just asked about her twin brother, which she hasn't seen for 7 years. And spoiler alert, because this is kind of appointed to the context of the line, this brother is Atlas. So Sunny and Atlas are twins. So Sunny is, you know, they're not identical twins. They are very much the opposite, actually. But Sunny has not seen Atlas for 7 years, but she doesn't know much about him except, like, oh, like, he knew Persephone and her boyfriend before. Well, she doesn't know about the boyfriend, so take that back. But so he knew Persephone before they got kidnapped, and she didn't, and she's pretty sure that's the reason why she was kidnapped, because he did something. That's the only thing that she knows. So this is Cassidy talking to Mabel after Sunny asks Mabel about, what's his name? Atlas. It's a very long story. You'll understand it more if you read the chapter. I'm not being very concise, but I promise it makes sense. So here's the line. So the chapter 4 line is, she still thinks he's still alive. She lowered her voice. But I'm not so sure. Most test subjects are very quick to die. I'm surprised Sunny hasn't yet. I'm even surprised I haven't. Most people I know already have, and it's tough. That's Cassidy's line. And then Mabel freaks out. Obviously. I would be freaking out too. Like, if somebody told me, like, oh yeah, most test subjects die and you just got assigned a test subject, I would be freaking out. I would not be okay. I'd be sobbing in the corner, which Mabel kind of does. But enough about that. So, then we have chapter 5 and Sunny is speaking now. And so basically this line is, Sunny was talking about, so Mabel was asking because her friend Apollo got assigned to be a minor and not a test subject. So Mabel was asking, hey, do test subjects ever see minors? And then Sunny's like, yeah, but I've only seen them once and twice in my 7 years being here because of executions. And then Mabel freaks out, and this is Sunny's line. She said, so this is it. So it's, Sunny looked at her, eyes immediately widening in concern. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And you shouldn't have, Sunny. You really shouldn't have, to the girl who just walked in here maybe about an hour ago. Probably a little less than that. I don't know how long. Oh my gosh, it's insane. And the reason I like that line so much is because it's funny. It is so funny. I don't know why. Just is. Just like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. No, you shouldn't have. But it's fun. I digress. So then, so I only have up to chapter 6 in this line, which really sucks in this line series because I don't have 7 and 8 because 8 I haven't finished and 7 I completely forgot to add an addition last night. But here we go anyway. So here's chapter 6's line. And this is kind of a big spoiler. So this is Mabel saying this, and she's realizing who kidnapped her. But the name is a spoiler, so I redacted the name, so I will not be saying the name. I will be saying blank in the process of the name. So I'm just going to leave you with this line, and you can, what's the word? You can dissect it, you can interpret it, that's the word. Interpret it any way you want, but this is all I'm going to say. So this was the line. It was you, Mabel said, her voice shaking. She stared at the blurry version of blank and felt tears start to stream down her cheeks. Wasn't it? And that's it. It's so, oh my gosh, just the amount I love this plot twist about who it is. I can't tell you who it is, but it's a big plot twist, and that's why I will not be saying anything about it. So yeah, that's my favorite lines so far in part 1. I'll probably be adding 7 and 8 whenever I do a part 2 favorite lines video, and then tonight I'm probably going to make a short wrapping up part 1, so keep your eyes out for that. Well, that's about it. Bye, guys, and I'll see you in another video.